Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. And it's time for another vinyl update where I just basically come through in a very casual format and tell you about some recent additions to my record collection in just a, very chill, conversational, friendly little way. Yep. That's basically what we're going to do. It's been a month since the last ones, so let's do another since I have had some pickups that I feel like I don't want to miss out on the opportunity of mentioning and reminding you guys of in the case that I have talked about them before. That is actually so for quite a few records and projects that are in the pile for this month. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. If you guys are at all punk fans, I would hope you are if you're following this channel. Not that I cover punk music on a super regular basis, but pretty pivotal musical movement when it comes to anything the least bit subversive or alternative, regardless of genre. And that's why I want to mention this new album from Off, or the latest and final album from legendary hardcore punk revivalists Off. This final record of theirs, Free LSD, is not only an excellent album, but a really cool creative departure from their usual sound, where they indulge in some experimental rock, some heavy psych as well, but it still has like that really awesome driving hardcore punk fury that you want and expect from anything going in this direction. I have not cracked this open yet, but yes, it is one of the heaviest punk records of the modern era, and quite enjoyable and very conceptual on the lyrical side too, as frontman Keith drops a lot of lyrics that are sort of heavy on the conspiracy stuff. It feels like it's very much a record of the modern era and trying to, much in the same way that bands like Viagra Boys have as of late, try to distill like this, very terminally online conspiratorial nutter kind of mindset on here, with the lyrics, also the album art, obviously. Love what the band is trying to paint here image wise with the cover art. Really cool lyric sheet as well involved. Oh, it's actually like on perforated like LSD paper. That's sick. Like you could fold this and sort of like pull it apart. I guess you could soak it in LSD if you wanted and turn it into LSD. If that was something that you wanted to do with this lyric sheet, it's really great that the band has gone as far as to think of that, We also have the record itself. Oh, I didn't realize it's like a bubble gum. It's like a lightly splattery bubblegum pink with some red in there as well. That's sick. One more thing that I want to mention about this project and this record and this release is that it is really quite the swan song for Off, really for any band, because this record has also been released alongside a film of the same name, which, yes, does involve shots of the band playing live and so on and so forth. It's definitely a celebration in a sense of like the band's music and creativity. But also, this is like a legit sort of like B comedy, sort of conceptual sci-fi film that depicts a character that sort of embodies the lyrics that Keith is singing about on the record, who goes on LSD and is a bit of a conspiratorial guy, and sort of like, through this transformation from this I drug that he's fed. He's like in a band, and there's like these different realities kind of collapsing onto each other. And Jack Black is in it, and sort of like other punk and underground music legends are in the film as well. I mean, obviously, it's not the first movie to be released in tandem with an album or a musical artist's work. But it is like, very strange and surprising of a project for a punk band to undertake. I'll say that. Though movies like Rock and Roll High School come to mind if we're talking about films in the punk realm. But, this is obviously a lot more out there than that. And again, very surprising that Jack Black is in the mix in the limited fashion that he is. Okay, so that's off Free LSD. Excellent record, very much worth your time, and really cool way to finish out and round out a career, not only with a very entertaining and excellent record, but with a very strange, surprising film as well of the same title. Moving on to some newer releases that have been very hype in the needle drop viewership fan base, starting off with this new one from Godspeed. I bought this not too long after I reviewed it. Is even the full title printed on here? They're not. Well, I mean, it's kind of like officially no title, but obviously the title, when you look up this record online, sort of prints the Palestinian death toll as of the time the album was kind of conceived and recorded. I got a really nice note from the label for purchasing the record and supporting their work and the band's work. I have not popped this open, obviously. So let's give it a look. It's, of course, like usual with Godspeed stuff, printed on a really nice, really great matte finish, which I love. It just feels like nicer than some of the faker, glossier stuff that you see in record prints these days. That's a very nice gatefold with quite the compelling photo. There you go. There's the full title right there with the death count. You have also liner notes, personnel there as well. Track list. The band just says so much with so little. Also, what's the record sleeve itself looking like? I think it's just a standard black vinyl, but it looks like a very heavy pressing, which is nice. Undoubtedly, that's going to sound amazing. I have multiple records from the Constellation catalog and Godspeed in the record collection, and they have never disappointed before. I don't see any reason why they would now. Very ominous there with the helicopters in the desert. So there you go. Obviously excellent record, obviously important cause. Seen a bit of ridiculousness in the wake of this album coming out with like total fucking morons on the internet being like, oh man, Godspeed went woke. I can't believe they're coming out with an album of this title. Like, you'd have to be a complete idiot to like not know. The band could have been completely silent or could have totally broken up and never come out with another record. And I could have like guessed with 120% certainty. I would have put my whole life savings on what the band thinks about the conflict the title of this record is in reference to, and been totally correct. I feel like if you couldn't have guessed Godspeed's position on that issue, then you don't really, and you haven't really paid attention to the band's music, and again, you're a completely out of touch idiot. Regardless of where you stand on it. Greep time, the new sound, a really exciting combination of experimental rock, progressive rock, Brazilian tropicalia, jazz rock as well. Really like the kind of color, variant going on with the cover art on the vinyl version. here of the new sound. I got in trouble with my YouTube thumbnail for depicting myself as being beheaded, to sort of copy in a cute, cheeky way the album art. Little lyric sheet in the middle, or, just the lyrics in the middle for the gatefold. We have the records themselves, which are what? It's a monkey's foot? It's an ape's foot? Okay. Looks like a standard black pressing. I like the way that the sort of labeling there looks, like the cutout in the center on the other side. That's cool. It reads like, I don't know, it just looks very formal, I'll say that. It just looks very, very formal. And we're looking at, we're looking at a bit of a, not a bit, but a double LP here, which maybe, I guess, does make sense. It is a kind of a lengthy project. Oh, we got it green. We switched over to green. But obviously the tracks on the back end of the record get pretty long. We have As If Waltz and Motorbike and The Magician on the second of the two LPs. Again, like the color switch up there on the labeling. Interesting. I wonder what made him go with these photos for the insert, or the sleeve, the record sleeve. Why am I saying insert? Why am I using incorrect terminology? But there we go. The new sound. Ooh! Not only is the head coming off, it's spilling on another person. That's just inconsiderate. That's just inconsiderate. All right. Shout out to CG8, who sent this record my way after I covered it and thought there were some pretty cool tracks on it. Very irreverent and fun little alternative and post-punky type of band with some good goth vibes on numerous tracks here. The Eighth Coming is the name of the record. A very fun insert. We're going crazy. We're going crazy. Ooh, it's like toxic green, toxic sludge, nuclear sludge, atomic sludge, neon green. Nothing. I need to double check here just because, I don't want to put anything on the screen that's going to get me in trouble, visually speaking. But, we do have a nice lyric sheet here. I love all of the super old school sort of, visual sort of computer navigation windows. It's very Windows 95. I'll say that. And I will leave it there because I don't want to have this video get demonetized or anything like that. But I am liking all the photos. I am liking the color here. That's a really cool pressing idea. Nice color consistency with this album art. Liking the energy, liking the vibe the band is giving off on this very chaotic visual presentation and very sort of out there irreverent record. Shout out also to a new record I have reviewed recently. That would be the new Shoo Shoo album, 13-inch Frank Beltrame Italian Stiletto with Bison horn grips. We got the knives on the front. Also behind it, I have a copy of Angel Guts' Red Classroom, an older album from the band, which I do enjoy quite a few tracks off of, even if it's not one of my favorite releases they have ever come out with. The reason I got this on vinyl, and I'm not going to open it right now, is because there is a track from it that, as of right now, this video is not on streaming. It's a track that has been controversial in the past for the band, and I really have no idea what future pressings of this record are going to look like. Will they still include that track? Will they not? As far as I know, it is on this, and I don't know. I don't know if I want to pop that open in case future copies of it completely change up the track list. With that being said, we still do have 13-inch here, which I love what they did with the the cover art on here in terms of like just the rainbow metallic sheen. That's incredible. That's amazing. You guys should absolutely check out my review of this record if you have not. It is definitely one of Shoo Shoo's punchiest and most accessible albums in a while. If you're looking for something that's going to give you kind of that raw lo-fi indie rock sound, but with some kind of eerie and unsettling synths and vocals and lyrics and really punchy drums as well. Really some of the punchiest drums and rhythms and fills that we have ever gotten on any Shoo Shoo album in the entire catalog. Loving the rainbow sheen consistency on the insert there with the production credits and liner notes and the lyrics. I love that visual consistency. That's awesome. What are we looking at here? Ooh, another big fat green record with literally no lettering or labeling on the sticker. I need to, I'm looking for an etching. Here we go. Okay, so this is the A side, I'm guessing, and no, that might actually not be the A side. What the fuck? Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to put it on and hope for the best. Very minimal, but also over the top as well. I like that they did a lot with a little. The metallic sort of rainbow sheen here does quite a bit visually. I'm gonna have to wrap that up. All right, awesome. Moving on to some other projects here. I got slid this one. It's not a newbie, but it is a bit of an underrated favorite in the catalog of one of the most fun and interesting songwriters of his generation. That would be Mr. Jonathan Richman. I know that this, again, is not one of his most popular records, and that's because it's, you know, in some respects, kind of technically a country album. Not every track on the record is super duper country, and I feel like it's kind of a country album for non-country fans for the most part, or it's Jonathan kind of, you know, taking his usual songwriting, kooky songwriting style and just kind of making it work in a slight country context. I mean, I think it's a very fun, very enjoyable record. Ooh, nice little red transparent pressing there for the Jonathan Richman Goes Country. Again, repressing here. Again, very fun album. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, one of the first Jonathan Richman albums you should listen to. You should probably listen to Modern Lovers. You should probably listen to I, Jonathan. There are any number of Richman albums that you should probably jump into first, but if you are looking to kind of clean up on the good, deeper cuts in his catalog, Jonathan Richman Goes Country over here is certainly no slouch and very entertaining and very fun. Hilarious picture of him in those ill-fitting boots, those ill-fitting red boots on the backside. Very funny, entertaining guy, Jonathan. Lewis Cole, Nothing. Reviewed this one over on the channel recently. The Metropole Orkest and Jules Buckley in the mix as well. Very extravagant, very over the top, very groovy album. Lots of crazy jazz fusion bits throughout this record, but insane orchestrations throughout as well. Very enjoyable and creative, big budget and ambitious album from Mr. Lewis Cole. Mega talent, even if every song off this thing wasn't totally fire. Love that we're getting a cool, interesting kind of white pressing, like the white and black consistency of the presentation over here. That's a neat little gatefold. The photos, the personnel, all of that, which, I mean, there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people. Got to list them all out. Everyone involved. Again, cool labeling, cool sleeves, cool everything. Love it. That's a really great gatefold package, to say the least. How are we doing on time? 19 minutes. Sick. Dope. All right, moving on. Shout out to Lewis Cole and Brain Feeder. They've been really consistent this year. Just dropping a lot, doing a lot. Shout out to Ugly, who came out with this project this year, a little bit of an EP, who, if you're looking for something that is simultaneously going to appeal to the indie folk heads and like the prog heads. This is pretty interesting. Really cool band from the UK that is on the come up as of right now. After I reviewed this record very positively, the band slid this my way. One of the best EPs, certainly, you can listen to in 2024. Awesome lyric sheet, some photos, credits, and thanks. And what are we looking at in terms of the record? Looks like a standard black pressing, but no disappointment there. It's a great album. Ooh, where it contours. It conforms to the shape of the record, which is cool. You don't see that every day. But awesome. Shout out to Ugly. Again, I'll say I'm not crazy about the name. It's a very difficult to Google band name, but they are a band that creatively, given just how great this EP is. This is like an album quality EP. Like if there was another couple tracks on this as good as the rest of the EP, it would just be a fantastic album. Don't presume that just because this is like an EP from a group that is getting their name out there that it's like low quality or it's rough around the edges or they're still kind of finding their sound. This is an excellent, again, like combination of art rock and progressive rock and indie folk. It's a really cool project. It's a really cool record. The band deserves way more attention than they've been getting for sure. Getting into a classic now. I picked this up at a record show. Quick King Crimson, Larks Tongues in Aspic. Excellent prog record. What is there to really say about it? Probably the most celebrated album in the band's early and 70s discography outside of like their debut, which, obviously came out like 69, I believe. But, look, they were just like full in experimental rock and avant prog mode on this record. And I will also say the violins and violas from David Cross on this album really kind of like, make it. Like some of the violin solos are just insane, just crazy. The mellotrons he brings to the table are excellent as well. But look, if you're looking to get into something that is on the more experimental and out there and wild and jammy side of progressive rock spectrum, when it comes to that classic 70s stuff, you want to listen to this. Pretty straightforward in terms of the sleeve, the pressing, and everything. I've got the record in sort of like a newer sleeve because the original one's a little beat up. It's a little worn out. Got a lyric sheet for the couple of tracks on here that do have lyrics. It's very much an instrumental excursion a lot of the time. It's labeled as being the collector's edition of the record, but I don't know sort of like what necessarily separates it from just sort of like a regular pressing per se. I mean, the record sounds great. It sounds fantastic. And it's in great condition. But, either way. There you go. King Crimson. Had to get that in the catalog. It would be nice to have like a copy of Islands or a record like that, but I don't run across a whole lot of copies of those albums, honestly. Their debut, their sophomore record, this one, Red, I see a lot around at record shows, but, other albums that are sort of in more of this like jazz rock and, that kind of symphonic prog era, I don't see as many copies. I mean, I know they're not quite as popular, but excellent album, amazing album. Okay, moving on from there, we have this album, L.O.T.I.O.N, Multinational Corporation. I recently got a bit of a care package from visual artist Alexander Eyre, who's done a lot of work with various kind of underground punk bands, album art, show flyers, has worked a lot with Sacred Bones. He has his Death Traders brand as well, which he sent me some stuff from. But I didn't know he's done music, and this is quite wild, quite wacky stuff. If you're looking for some very lo-fi, politically charged, raw, nasty industrial rock that has kind of like an EBM or sometimes like electro backbone to it. That's like very kind of clubby and very groovy. You might want to give this a listen. Obviously these genres have coexisted on many an album in the past, but it's not something that you hear artists indulge in a lot these days. It's not a super new thing. This is like a 2022 album. It's not something that you hear indulge in a lot right now. There's 8 tracks on here. Again, it's very raw, nasty industrial rock with a lot of electronic beats and elements mixed in there. Some clubbier, ravier grooves, which again, it's just kind of an interesting mix. But a lot of the lyrical themes and the whole vibe and the visuals of everything, it's very much got like this, anti-establishment, anti sort of like militaristic kind of message to it. Very unique combination of vibes, influences, album art, aesthetics, everything like that. L.O.T.I.O.N, multinational corporation, wild fucking project name. And finally, shout out to this band. I got past this record from my buddy Giggins. He told me he got it from the record shop that he works at. Scooped Up is the name of this group. And, it's not totally my bag per se, like stylistically or aesthetically, but if you're looking for some straightforward, catchy, riffy, energetic pop punk with kind of I would say like a bit of a NoFX edge to it, bit of a Blink and NoFX edge, then this is kind of what you're going to want to listen to. This is what you're going to want to spin. The Runs is the name of the record, and what I spun of it on the first half, it was very consistent. Again, very driving pop punk guitars. There's the band right there on the back end, looking chill. About to play some baseball. About to make some runs around the diamond. Scooped Up, The Runs. That's the vibe. That's the pop punk energy. And that is the last record in the vinyl update. Go in! Go in! There we go. Thank you guys for watching. You're the best. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for chilling with me while we go through these records. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Mwah. I will see you in the next one. And again, thanks for chilling with me and being awesome. Anthony Fantano, Transition. Have you given any of these albums a listen? I don't know. Over here next to my head is a thing. Click on it. Subscribe to the channel too. Yeah. Anthony Fantano, vinyl, forever.